Late, I've never been late. Late, I've never been late. Late, I've never been. Okay. Hi. Hello. Oh, I don't love that. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Ooh, I don't like that at all. Why are we... Hello? Are we cool? Are we done echoing? Okay, I think we're good. Can you guys not? Come on. You get so much fucking food, it's ridiculous. Stop. Okay. Hi. So we're doing... Yeah, only 2 minutes late. We're doing a short stream today. Because I decided I wanted to go live at 5 p.m., but I have a thing I'm supposed to be at 7 p.m. Typical average Merrick planning session. No! So you literally cannot go this way. Stop. You guys, you're being so insane today, all of you. Come on. Okay, stop. No! No, you cannot do this. No. Okay, hold on, guys. Stop trying to jump up here. You don't have to play with her if you don't want to, but you gotta stop jumping on mommy's desk. Okay. Hi. Is my volume down? We turned it way down. Man, we had this problem yesterday too, where you guys couldn't hear me, but everything playing was too loud. Okay, hello. Yeah, so I have a thing at 7. But I decided I wanted to stream at 5, so that's cool. Alright. I wanted to talk about a bunch of different stuff. I wanted to talk about the schism between the Wipers and, like, the regular Republican Party. And I wanted to talk about, like, other stuff that's going on with the shutdown, like the ACA, because Trump has been truthing out about that. I wanted to talk about this movie that I saw last night, which was called Promising Young Woman. And then I wanted to talk about, obviously we're going to explain the stuff that's going on with Snap. And then, I was going to read you some of the pages of my romance novel. Okay. But we're just going to have to try and figure out what it is that we want to cover. I definitely want to talk about Snap. That's probably going to be the main thing that we focus on. We might not get to the book today. For those of you who don't know, if you follow me on Instagram, I was talking to you about this book. Now, this is exactly what it looks like. You see it says Harlequin. This is a romance novel. So I just got my first box of, I'm ordering from this food delivery service thing, right? It's HelloFresh. And I open up my food and this is inside of the box. Not like in place of food. There was food in there too, right? But what are they? They're insane today. Okay. This was also inside of the box. I was like, ooh, couscous and you know, chicken, and then ooh, like a thing of like what did I get? Like, wow, why am I blanking on every fucking meal that arrived yesterday? Like, fun peppers and some sort of sweet glaze, like chili pepper glaze for chicken. Like, all this, like, you know, actual meals, right? But then also this book. And I was like, why did they send me a romance novel? That's really insane, actually. I also thought you wrote it. I did not write this. No, I've never written a book. I did not write this romance novel. Are we going to learn anything about Homath today? I can tell you guys a little bit about the Homath drama. If you saw the last stream, you saw a little bit about it, but we can talk a little bit about it. Yeah, so I was like thinking, okay, so I'm going to read you guys the description of this, okay? Is it good? I don't know. I haven't started it yet. This happened like, I think yesterday. It was either 2 days ago or yesterday. And I was like, that's crazy. This doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is this happening right now? Okay. But so I'm going to read you guys the summary, okay? She's in desperate need of protection and trusts only one man. V. Reynolds is on the run, terrified that her abusive ex-husband will find her and discover she's had his baby. She's hiding out in her hometown. That seems like a bad place to hide from your ex-husband, because it's your hometown and because, you know, that's like the obvious place to look for you. Anyway, but when she's reunited with Thomas Hart, her high school sweetheart, V's conflicted. Because despite the powerful longing they still feel for each other, Thomas is a cop like her ex. Ugh! So he's gonna beat her too. And she's learned she can't trust the police. Ooh, based ACAB from Miss Nicole Helm, based ACAB Harlequin romance. Thomas is a cop like her ex, and she's learned she can't trust the police. But when the threats her ex have been sending her escalate, V must decide whether to run or to trust Thomas to protect her. Bro, I just wanted my chicken and couscous. What the fuck is going on here? Why was this sent to me? What if I was like a man? What if I was like a 19-year-old boy or something? Or like a 50-year-old man? And this was, did they choose who gets what? Am I being profiled for what sort of weird extra goodies I'm getting in my packaging? Why was this sent to me? I hate romance. What if I was a 19-year-old femboy cat girl? Yeah, what if my fucking grandmother was a bicycle? Why did I receive this? I don't understand. But, so, whatever. Funny, right? So I think maybe, oh, this is kind of a long ass book. Oh, okay, well the print is also fucking huge, so, yeah, Palantir is behind this somehow. This is huge print, so it's like, it is a lot of pages, guys. I will warn you right now, it's like 283 pages. It's 283 pages, but it's also like fucking 16-point font. So maybe we'll read some of it. We'll see. Dump him, girl. No idea if the writing will be good, but that author is apparently very prolific. She literally has 100 books listed on her book list. Okay, so it's gonna suck. It's gonna be fucking terrible because she is churning this slop out. She's writing a book a week. Oh, do you see them? They're wrestling. This is why Beeben was trying to jump on my desk like 4 times in a row, because they both are trying to wrestle right now, and he was like, fuck you. He doesn't want any part of it. He's an old man. He's grumpy. Yeah. Okay. So, what if it was a Chuck Tingle book? I don't know if I can read Chuck Tingle on stream. They might take my account away from me if I do that. I probably will suspend my accounts if I ever try to read a Chuck Tingle book. Okay, so I saw a couple of you saying that you really liked the movie, and I'm really sorry, but we're all about to be in a fight. We're all about to be in a massive fight. You know how like, everyone says that Vosh has really bad media takes? You guys are gonna start saying that about me. You guys are gonna be really mad at me. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it at all. Well, okay, there were things about it that I liked. I wanted to like it. Wait. This author's top book is Wyoming Cowboy Sniper? Okay, wait, hold on. That is just nouns. Not Wyoming Cowboy Spinner. That is not what I wanted to type. I love being dyslexic. Guys, that has 4.5 stars. It has 170 ratings, and it has 4.7 out of 5 stars on Amazon. 4.3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Okay, you know what? We are gonna read this at some point. Yeah, so I didn't like, okay. I do think it had strong performances. I do think that the lead Carey Mulligan, I think she was good. I think Laverne Cox has a little fun side supporting role. Bo Burnham was good. Who's the mom? Molly Shannon. Molly Shannon has an interesting. Okay, so Molly Shannon's character is actually one of the issues that I had. Not the way Molly Shannon acts, but how they had her handle the situation. Connie Britton is the dean. And if you guys will remember what movie we're talking about, Promising Young Woman. Connie Britton is the mom from the first season of American Horror Story. Alison Brie is Madison. So this is Connie Britton. You guys will probably recognize her. She's been in a lot. I think she does a really good job in the first season of American Horror Story. And I think that she did a good job with the role they handed her in Promising Young Woman. Alison Brie is also pretty good. She's really good at playing kind of a bitchy character. So she was recently in Together, and then also in a movie called Horse Girl, I think. Yeah, she was pretty good in Horse Girl. Oh, she's in Robot Chicken and BoJack Horseman too. She does a really good job, I think, at playing these kind of like at the end of her rope, kind of bitchy, kind of exasperated roles. She does a really good job with that, and I think she handles it really, really well in Promising Young Woman as well. I think, I think that we've got a lot of really talented actors in this movie. I do also feel like some of it feels kind of stilted though. But I don't necessarily know that that's the fault of the actors. I think maybe that's the fault of like maybe the writing. Um, what did I think about Saltburn? Yeah, so the other movie that this director, or is it, I'm not sure if it's the writer or the director. I think it's the writer. Yeah, okay. So Emerald Fennell, is it Fennell? Probably Fennell. Emerald Fennell is the writer and the director and the producer of Saltburn, and I believe she might also be the writer and the director of Promising Young Woman as well. So let's see. Yeah, so she wrote and directed and produced it. So this is all her work, right? Um, I felt conflicted about Saltburn. Um, I think I remember a lot of people talking about how Saltburn was like just so edgy and like so just wild, and oh my god, I watched it all, all the posts, oh my god, I didn't know what it was, and I watched it with my parents, and oh my god, wow, so crazy. And I just kind of remember being like, eh, I don't know. It felt like it was like trying really hard to be edgy, but also you guys got to remember, I watch like exploitation horror and like extreme horror. I like seek that stuff out. Um, so I just thought it was kind of like, I don't know, a way overhyped. So I was really disappointed with Promising Young Woman. And I think it's just because I felt like, and it's not even the ending, okay? And I'm not going to ruin the ending for you guys. I know a lot of people were upset about the ending. Um, and I am not upset about it, actually. There was sort of this idea that um, the ending itself was sort of disrespectful to the message, or it in itself was anti-feminist. I actually disagree with that. I think the ending in itself was probably one of the more realistic aspects of the film. I got really frustrated because I see different sides to this, right? So the premise of this movie, for those of you who don't know, is this woman goes out to bars and she pretends to be so drunk that she can't stand. And she has guys take her home, right? Looking at the cast, I struggle to picture Bo Burnham as a great actor instead of just a YouTube comedy guy. He, no, I think he does a decent job. I think he does a decent job. I don't think he's like an incredible, dramatic actor, but there's also, I mean, he is like a real comedic element in this movie. And a lot of the stuff that I saw people complaining about was the inconsistent tone. Um, and I do think that like his presence probably greatly contributes to inconsistency in tone. Um, but so the idea is that she goes out to bars and she pretends to be so drunk that she can't even walk. And she gets men take her home and try to take advantage of her. And so then she switches it up on them and she's like, turns out I'm actually stone cold sober, and what you're doing here is attempted rape. Um and so I think that there's a lot of promise in something like that. And the first time that you see this happen, very, very early on, when you see her do that shift into being sober, you watch this guy kind of like, oh God, okay, and he clearly has this moment of like surprise, but you don't really see what happens after that. And then the next morning, she's like leaving, and she's holding like a pastry or something, and red is just pouring down from her hand, and it looks like she's covered in blood, but then it kind of makes it known that that's like a red filling running down from the pastry. And I just do really feel like that in itself is kind of like, that's your whole movie right there. You go into it thinking that there's going to be this sort of like, you think it's going to be this like gritty revenge, I spit on your grave style story. Hey, thank you. And hello, thank you, Jar Jerk. You think that you're going into it, you're gonna get that, but the thing is, you're not getting that at all. Basically, what she's doing the whole movie is that she shows these guys that she's sober, and then it's like a, aha, shame on you, I gotcha. You're scared now, aren't you? Because this is such a weird situation, aren't you? Just so scared, and it's like, uh, I don't know. To me, it just sort of feels like I've interacted with a lot of men, like working in the strip club for 13 years overall, but consistently for 7. Um, the whole thing is that, oh, they're nice guys who don't think of themselves as being rapists. They don't think of themselves as the kind of guy who would take advantage of a woman. And, you know, as soon as it's pointed out to them, they're so taken aback by it that, you know, they would never attack her or freak out because that's not what a nice guy would do. And, you know, so of course it makes sense that when she's like, aha, I'm actually sober, like, she showed them. But the thing is, like, I worked in the strip club for, you know, a long time. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. There's a lot of self-proclaimed nice guys who, will, you know, try to slip their fingers inside of you, and then when you turn around and you're like, you know, you're being nice and you're being accommodating and you're being friendly and all that, and you sit with them for 30 fucking minutes and you guys talk and you form a connection and blah blah blah, and then they try to stick their fucking fingers inside of you, because while you're not completely shit-faced drunk, you're a sex worker, right? So you're less than human to them. The same way that a woman who is entirely drunk is also they would also consider her responsible, right? So when you're a sex worker and you get assaulted, people consider you responsible because you're a whore, so you're less than human, and you're giving out sexual services, you're performing sexual services. So what do you expect, right? Men will get carried away. What do you expect? You put yourself in this situation. And that's really kind of the tone of this movie, right? Is that there are some people who are saying, you put yourself in this situation, what do you expect by getting too drunk? So what really happens when you correct a man, you surprise a man, because you've been nice, ooh, I'm drinking, I'm having so much fun, because that's something else that we pretend to do at the strip club too, is we pretend to drink with you. We get drinks that are non-alcoholic, we get them special, and we pretend to drink with you. And then when I turn around and I go, don't do that, don't touch me like that, that's assault, I'll tell you what they do. They don't go, oh my God, whoa, you've shaken me to my core, and now I'm going to rethink my worldview. They get mad at you. They get really shitty with you, and they get mad at you, and they get aggressive to you. They get aggressive to you in a place where there is security. So you think at their home, you're going to turn it around on them, and you're going to be like, aha, I'm actually sober and I got you. And they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm having an existential crisis. No, they're going to freak the fuck out on you. They're going to freak the fuck out on you. Either they're going to think you're a psycho, or they are going to be very shocked, or they might get violent with you. They are going to blame you. They're going, you fucking bitch, how could you set me up? Like, yeah, so this is just not, she's putting herself in extremely dangerous situations. Yeah, you tricked me. You were supposed to be vulnerable. So you have no idea what a man will do in that situation. And so, like, when I was watching this, I was just kind of like, this sucks. Like, it's just not real. And I saw people arguing about this online. And I saw like, and I think that it was like a lot of the times when people were pointing this out, it was men, but they were doing it in a shitty way, you know, and they would have like kind of shitty misogynistic language around it, and so people were getting really mad at them. And I saw a lot of people being like, well, they're self-proclaimed nice guys, and no self-proclaimed nice guy would ever act in a violent or weird way. You don't know that, and you're wrong. You don't know that, and you're wrong. So I just thought it was very like, okay. Um, I don't necessarily have a problem with them writing a character who tries to do things like that, because I think that like so the whole thing, and you know, you find this out, it's not like this doesn't ruin anything, it's not a big secret. She was in medical school with her best friend. They've been best friends their whole lives. Her best friend was basically gang raped. She was really drunk, and she was gang raped by other medical school students. And I believe she dropped out and she killed herself because she was blamed for it, right? And so then our protagonist also drops out, and so she's going on this like weird little revenge tour because she is very traumatized by this, right? So I don't have a problem writing a character who is like traumatized and PTSD riddled to the point where she's making these bad decisions, to the point where she's going on this like ill-constructed revenge fantasy, to the point where she's like just going about things the wrong way, because I think that I mean, I think there is something to be said there about how trauma can warp you, and how it can make you irrational, and how it can make you, you know, this like it really imperfect in your quest to get revenge or to heal yourself. Like, that's not what I have a problem with. What I have a problem with is it being portrayed of all these guys being like, oh my god, I'm so scared. Like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Like, sorry, but that's not where we're at right now. Does she? No, she doesn't kill the guys. No, not at all. Not at all. Her whole thing is just, ha, gotcha. That's it. It's, ha, gotcha. I'm alone with you in your house, man I don't know, who is intoxicated, and now I've pulled the wool over your eyes. Or I pulled the wool over your eyes, and now here, ha, I gotcha. That's it. That's what she's doing. And I was like, oh my god. That's insane. That's really fucking dangerous and insane. Yeah. Kind of brings trans panic laws to mind. Yeah. I think that, like, any trans woman, we're talking about Promising Young Woman. I think any trans woman who watches this movie will be like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, man who was already willing to date rape me. I have tricked you and bamboozled you, and now you're going to be mad, and I'm alone in your house with you. Yeah, okay. I had a big problem with that. I also had a problem with like her best friend's mom, Molly Shannon. Yeah, take this life lesson. When I read the premise, I thought it would be that she kills them. Yeah, I thought she was gonna kill them too. That's why I was really excited to see it. I was like, hell yeah, we're getting a movie about our insane like, you know, totally like traumatized imperfect protagonist like killing rapists, but it's also not gonna be like exploitation fodder. Like, a lot of revenge movies are like, you just watch these like gratuitously long like rape scenes, and like I Spit on Your Grave is notorious for that, right? Because you're just like, okay, you know, like a lot of female revenge stuff written by men, you just watch these women just get absolutely fucking brutalized, you know, for like 15 fucking minutes, and you're like, okay. So there's none of that in here, so I was excited to see what, you know, a female director and a female, you know, writer would do with this, and I just think it fell really short. Is this film from Hollywood? Yes. Yeah. I think she won. It premiered at the Sundance. The film won Best Original Screenplay at the Academy Awards. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, and Best Film Ending. It also won Best Screenplay at the Critics' Choice Awards, the Writers Guild Award, and the British Academy Film Awards. The Writers Guild of America ranked the film's screenplay the 23rd greatest of the 21st century. This is a huge movie. There's also a scene where she is like beating some guy's truck, some guy who like pulls up next to her while she's like disassociating in her car at a stoplight, and he's having this like road rage incident next to her. So she gets out of her car with a tire iron and starts like bashing in his lights on his truck, and he just sits there and like lets her do it. He doesn't try to drive away, like he just sits there and lets her do it, and he's just like, oh, you're so crazy, oh my god. But he lets her like walk around the truck and like do it to the front. She's still got the tire iron, and he's like, is that a tire iron? And he's just still sitting there, and you're like, he doesn't try to get out of the car, he doesn't try to shoot her, like I don't know, he doesn't try to drive away, and you're just like, okay, come on guys. Oh my god. I had a lot of problems with the ending, like the text message scene at the ending. I don't know. Oh yeah, this movie was like won so many awards and was like really critically acclaimed. Um, so there's also a scene where like in the beginning, I have a problem with the way the guys talk because every man in the movie, every line from every man in the movie who's not Bo Burnham is like, look at the ass on that slut, and you're just like, what? This is not how men talk, you know. Every man is like this absolute caricature of like a frat bro rapist. Every line from every man is like, you know, anytime a woman is vulnerable or drunk, I really think maybe you should just kind of like take advantage of them, and I really think that they deserve it. Also, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. That's like every line of dialogue from every man, and you're just like, okay, come on. The fact that you're trying to make, they're all homath. Every man in this movie is homath. The fact that you're trying to make a commentary on the fact that it's like nice guys who do this sort of thing, and they don't really think that it's bad a lot of the time. They don't look like they don't realize that what they're doing is rape. Um, there's there's a real conversation to be had here, and you can't portray guys as like nice guys, but then also on the surface level they're also like, huh, you're gonna wear her ass out, huh? It's not, these are two diametrically opposite different kinds of guy, right? So your message gets really muddled, I think. And I just had like a really big problem with that. I think that if you are trying to say something serious, you kind of undercut it by making men into these weird, ultra misogynistic, over the top caricatures. I have never met a man like that. I know there are plenty of men who are like this, but I haven't seen it. Yeah, you know what's crazy is that you don't really meet men like that. A lot of men know not to talk that way. The vast majority of men, I think, don't actively think that way. And I think the ones that do know not to talk like that, right? So, like, uh, it's just very, like, there's a scene where one of the guys takes her home and he's really nerdy, and he's just like, you know, I don't know why you have to wear all that makeup. Men really like it when you don't wear so much makeup. And it's just like, every man is a 4chan character. Every man is a 4chan character, the whole movie. It's just frustrating. Misogyny is actually super insidious, and a lot of their beliefs are actually internalized and manifest in the way they behave, not the way they speak. Yes. Yes. And so I had a lot of issues with this. Molly Shannon is the dead best friend's mom, and there's a scene where our main character, Carey Mulligan, goes over to the house, that house that she lives in. And Molly Shannon comes out and she's basically like, you gotta let it go. You just gotta let it go, you know? You're not doing yourself any favors. You're not doing her any favors. You're not doing any good for anybody. You just gotta let it go. And to me, that was very strange, because I don't. But it's not like you gotta let it go in like a kind, compassionate way. It was like, you gotta let it go in this like, I'm getting kind of irritated sort of way. And then she just like gets up and goes into her house. And it's like, this was the girl who was, yeah, she's very, it is what it is about it. And that struck me as odd too, because like, you would think that if this was your daughter, your dead daughter who killed herself because she was gang raped and then blamed for it by everyone, and then her best friend is ultra traumatized by it, you'd think you would either be really compassionate with her, or you would be like, we have had this conversation so many times. It's been years, because in the movie it's been years since this happened, like a very long time actually. And it's, you would think you would either be like really compassionate, or she would be like mad, right? You keep coming around here. Do you understand what it does to us? I understand that you cared for her. I understand that you were her best friend, but I was her mother. I was her mother, and you keep fucking coming back here, and you won't let it go, and you won't let her memory have peace, and you won't fucking respect her memory, and you disrespect us, right? You come here and you're torturing us with this, and you're keeping it alive. What do you think this does to us? What do you think this does to me? I can't move on because you won't fucking let me, right? But there's not even that level of passion, right? There's not this anger. There's not this like, it just is kind of weird. It's this middle of the road weird way to go about it. I didn't care for it. Yeah, I don't know. I just had a lot of problems with it. And then there's a guy that she dates who, she's going out at night and she's doing this to all these men, but then she starts to date a guy, and it's Bo Burnham's character. And Bo Burnham was also in her med school, right? And he convinces her to go out with him. Like, she doesn't want to, but he like begrudgingly convinces her to go out with him. So they go out a few times, and you can tell that she actually likes him. You can tell that they're actually clicking. He genuinely is very respectful to her. He's very kind to her. And they're really liking each other. And then she has this weird interaction with the dean from the college. The dean who, at the time of the sexual assault, kind of like let the guy get away with it. And that, on the way back from confronting the dean, she has that weird thing with the guy where she smashes up his truck and then he doesn't do anything and then he drives away. And so then when she gets home, she's late for this date that she's supposed to have with Bo Burnham's character. And obviously she's frazzled. Obviously she's in a really weird place. And so he kind of like, he's like, hey, we could still make the movie. We just got to skip dinner. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I'm just so tired. And he's like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm just tired. And like, so she blows him off, which, okay, you've had a weird day. Sure, I get it. But then that night she decides to go out and she does the thing again. However, this time the guy that she reels in is one of the guys from the opening scene. He's the friend of her initial victim, the first victim. Well, not victim. He's one of the friends of like the first guy that she does it with, that we see happening. So it's like he was the one, the guy she catches that night was the one who initially points her out, and then his friend is the first guy who goes over. He's the one who's talking about her so much. He would know who she was. This was like 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so he apparently doesn't know who she is now. And she's like stumbling out of this club pretending to be super drunk on his arm. And as they're going this way, Bo Burnham's character is coming this way. And they have this incredibly awkward, like, oh God, oh my God, it's not what it looks like. I can explain, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no. She's like, what are you doing here? He's like, well, my plans opened up tonight because I had plans tonight, but now I don't. So I'm going to go meet my friends here. Which, like, also, I guess she's like in a small town, a smallish town doing this. Like, people would know who you are, girly pop. People would talk. Anyway, so he catches her what looks like cheating on him, right? Even, and like, whenever she goes back to talk to him afterwards, she's like, I promise I can't explain, but I promise it'll never happen again. Can we give this another try? And he's like, you won't touch me, you won't let me touch you, you won't kiss me. Like, that's fine, but then I catch you stumbling out of a bar drunken with like a total stranger. And she's like, I'll never do it again. Like, give me another chance. And he's like, no, I don't think so. Which, like, that is the correct response. So she leaves the apartment, and then like the next scene or the next couple of scenes, he like comes back to the coffee shop she works at, and he's like, let's go to dinner, asshole, like, you can make it up to me. And he just like forgives her, and they don't ever talk about it, and she never tells him what was happening. And then they just start dating after that. What? So I hated this movie. I'm so sorry, guys. I really hated this movie. Healthy relationship, yeah. Man, it's such a bummer. Because I really wanted to like it, but I don't know. I just thought there was a lot going on there. There was so much going on there that I just did not care for. Yeah. Um, okay. I'm sorry if anyone's mad at me. You should watch Audition. Women win big in that one. Sarcasm? What's Audition? The 1999 film by Takashi Miike. Okay. Alright, I'm putting this on my list. It's called Audition, and it is the 1999 movie. Okay. It's already giving me Kill Bill vibes. Hi, honey. Takashi Miike is Woody Allen, except he puts he puts out more movies and isn't a freak. Okay, cool. Sick. Okay, so what the fuck is going on with Snap? Audition is quite vicious horror psychological film with rather realistic torture and body horror scenes. Okay, sick. Sick. I want to watch American Mary again. Have you guys ever seen that? American Mary. It's been a long time since I saw it. Okay, yeah, anyway. Enough. Wyoming Cowboy Sniper. Hell yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about what's going on with Snap because it's kind of confusing right now. Um, and I've seen a lot of people talking about the decision by Ketanji Brown Jackson from last night and not really understanding exactly what the decision is, what is going on. Also, are you talking about Snap or Snapchat? Because one just signed a $400 million AI deal and the other one doesn't have any money. Yeah, the two snaps are going in very different directions right now. So true. No. So we're gonna talk about Snap.
Effectively.
Alright, you guys ready to hear the worst man in the world talk for a second?
It's an absurd ruling because you have a federal judge effectively telling us what we have to do in the midst of a Democrat government shutdown, which what we'd like to do is for the Democrats to open up the government. Of course, then we can fund SNAP, and we can also do a lot of other good things for the American people.
Okay. Yeah, the money is there. Oh, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. So, I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown because this situation has been a little bit confusing, and I think a lot of people don't really understand how we got here. So, basically, as we know, SNAP is not currently being funded. So, why is SNAP not currently being funded? SNAP is currently not being funded because we are in day 39 of our government shutdown. Okay, this is the longest government shutdown we've ever had. We could not get the funding passed because Dems are not world record, baby. So much winning. Are you guys tired of fucking winning yet? We're winning so hard right now because we could not get our funding situation worked out because Dems want to continue to subsidize the ACA. That is the Affordable Care Act, which makes it so that your insurance premiums are not $10,000 million a month, right? So they want to continue to fund and subsidize that. Republicans do not want that. They want that funding to run out. Yes, Obamacare. Oh, hi progressive. So Republicans have long been an enemy of Obamacare, of the ACA. They want to basically let it run out of funding. And when it runs out of funding, it's so I'm paying like $7 a month for my shit ass insurance instead of $300 a month for my shit ass insurance. Yeah. Ooh, we've got a sub for Mr. High Progressive. Thank you so much, Ternex. So, yeah, it's really fucked. Like, even if you go through the marketplace right now, and even if you go through the ACA right now, like, my premiums, whenever I was looking for just like middle of the road, like plans, and I haven't had health insurance in probably a year and a half at this point. I used to pay for it out of pocket for a really, really, really long time. Sometimes I feel better off without health insurance. I definitely feel better off without it right now, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of things like I can't do. So, for instance, over the summer, right before I moved, it was while I was getting ready to do the cross-country move from Texas to here. I had an incident where I passed out in my bathroom. I talked to you guys. I maybe talked about it a little bit. I haven't really talked about it a lot. You guys know that I have health problems from COVID, right? So there was an incident where Beebum cut me in my sleep. And this happens sometimes because he likes to sleep by my head, and he can't retract his claws because of the nerve damage from when he was sick, when he was little. And so if he gets scared in his sleep, or if he kicks me or something, he's cut me pretty deep before. And you guys saw him earlier. He's the big one. He's like 20 something pounds. So if he puts a lot of pressure on me, on my face with his claws out, he'll hurt me, right? And so this has happened a couple of times now. He's woken me up in the middle of the night. I'm like really crazy bleeding. And both times it's happened, I have passed out. So this has happened a couple of other times. I've had situations where I've had seizures and I've passed out. And I think this past time I hit my head pretty bad, right? So I went in, and they basically think that I have a heart problem. And from COVID, we know that I have lung damage from COVID. We know I have permanent lung damage. They suspect that I also probably have heart damage from COVID too. So I should have health insurance, because they want to put me in like a harness that I wear for weeks that measures my heartbeat. Yeah, we need sleep. Yeah, we need Charlie Day's kitten mittens. Is your cat driving you crazy? We need kitten mittens. But, you know, I'm never gonna be able to. They're trying to put me in the device. But the thing is, like, I'm never gonna be able to have the inhalers that I need. I'm never gonna get the heart monitoring, like, stuff that I need, because when I was paying out of pocket for health insurance, which I did from the time that I was like 23 or 24 until I was like 28, I paid out of pocket. Sometimes I was paying 300 something a month. Sometimes I was paying like close to 500 a month. Still having a deductible, still having co-pays, still not having any specialists taken care of. And what's crazy is that, like, when I was dating SDL, we sat down and we went through plans for like 3 hours once, and we built out a whole huge Excel spreadsheet, like, with different kinds of things that they offered, all these different, all these different like aspects of health insurance to consider, and we compared them all. And the best, most reasonable thing for me was still like upper 300s, like, considering the care that I needed. And that just kept going up in price. Like, every 6 months, every year, it would just go up and up and up and up and up and up, and my premiums just kept fucking rising. And now, mind you, I'm like 26, 27. I think I was 27 when we did this, right? And I so I can't afford health insurance, right? Because when I tried to look recently, it was like everything that would give me anywhere near the kind of like coverage or care that I needed was like 500 something. And the Republicans, that's with it being subsidized, right? That's with it having, government funding. So the Republicans want to make it so that, like, the stuff I'm looking at is what, like $1,000 a month? Yeah. So this is why Dems are putting their foot down, and they're saying, no, we're not going to let you do that to people. Because, with the big beautiful bill, Republicans wanted to cut everything. They're making it so that the committee that oversees like Medicaid, Medicare funding has to cut $800 billion out of it over 10 years. They want to cut everything, any sort of program that helps people. So now we're in a situation where we're on day 39 of the government shutdown. And yeah, we heard you had a pulse. You can do it on your own. Yeah, why don't you just go make your own harness, okay? And then why don't you just email us the results? So there's this big back and forth where the government is shut down. Now, ICE is getting paid. So they're able to make it so that some government employees are getting paid. They went out of their way to do that. But they're saying, well, we can't fund SNAP. This is the first time that SNAP has ever not paid out to people. So the Republican Party is saying, well, there's just nothing we can do about it because of the government shutdown. And everyone is sort of being like, well, you could do like a separate meeting, you could push a separate bill through, like you could release the funds, like you can do it. And so the Trump administration says, this is maybe like a little bit before Halloween, the Trump administration says, well, we just don't know if that's legal actually. So we're not, we would really love, the message for a while was we would really love to release those funds. Mike Johnson especially was going out there and was like, look, we would really love to release those funds. The president is just so desperate. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see. Mike Johnson says this ridiculous thing where he's like, the president is really desperate for people to get... Yeah, here we go. Give me Mike. Give me Mike. Give me Michael. Give me a video of Michael. Whatever. I'm not going to look for forever for this. So basically, Mike Johnson, what are you saying? Mike Johnson comes out and he says, we're trying to do everything we can. The president he is a big-hearted president and he is desperate for people to get these SNAP funds. We just don't know if it's legal. And so then, on Halloween, a judge out of Rhode Island, so that's going to be a Mr. John McConnell. My brother in Christ, you are literally the Speaker of the House. A Mr. John McConnell comes out and he says, fuck y'all, basically. He basically says, fuck y'all. If you read through his comments on the matter, he's like, this shit is reprehensible. You people are fucking evil. He said, fuck you, feed those kids. It's actually really fucking funny. I mean, this man's ruling is just fucking scathing, And so he's a judge out of Rhode Island, and he basically says, this is on Halloween. He goes, okay, I'm gonna give you guys till tomorrow. Basically, he says, I'm gonna give you till November 1st, and on November 1st, you're gonna release those funds. And now, at the same time, there is a judge out of Boston, and her name is Indira Tawani, and she also says, like, hey, this suspension of funds is unlawful, but she doesn't order them to release the funds. She orders them to give an update about what they're going to do. And she says, okay, you've got until November 3rd to decide what you're going to do. And now all this time, Trump is going on Truth Social, and he's like, it would be my honor to release the funds. Oh, if only it were legal. If only my poor little baby party had the powers. I would love to feed the people. He's doing this act the whole time, right? And so then two different judges are like, well, what you're doing right now is illegal, so what are you gonna do? And or fuck you, feed the people. So in response to this, Trump goes on to Truth Social and he says, well, first of all, he has his fucking Great Gatsby ass party, which I'm sure you guys have all seen. The party that they threw at the White House where the theme was a little party never killed nobody. And they've got the girls, the strippers and dancers in the huge martini glasses, and everyone is dressed up like a flapper from the Roaring '20s, and you're just like, oh, okay, man. That's a really interesting... Can we not do that? That's a really, really interesting message to be sending right now, while 42 million people are not getting their SNAP payouts. So this judge, the judge out of Boston is like, you have till the 3rd, figure it out. The judge out of Rhode Island is like, you have till tomorrow, do it. And so then Trump goes on to Truth Social and he posts, SNAP payments will only be given out when the government opens. And everyone's like, wait, hold on. You just said it would be your honor to feed people. You just said you guys really wanted to do this, but it wasn't legal. So then the 3rd rolls around, because this judge, you know, these statements are made on Halloween. So the 3rd rolls around, and the administration is like, okay, fine. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to partially fund some of the payments, okay? We're going to partially fund the payments where they give about 65% of what is owed. And the situation now is, okay, so that's better than nothing, but in some places it's going to take weeks. In some places it could take months. The way people, and the ways in which SNAP benefits are given out, it's also staggered. So like not everyone gets them at once either, right? So some people, when the judge issues the ruling saying, hey, you got to pay everyone, some states go ahead and they pay people. It starts to get really confusing around here, okay? So some states go, you know what, we're going to tap into state funds and we're not going to sit around and wait for federal funds. So we're going to try and make sure that everyone in our state gets the, you know, the food that they need, right? They get the benefits that they need. So some states start doing that. Some other states see Judge McConnell's ruling out of Rhode Island and they go, okay, cool, so we'll pay we'll just release the money for everyone and then get reimbursed by, you know, the federal funds or whatever. And then some states wait and they go, okay, we're going to have the 65% funding, and they go out and they go ahead and give out that 65% funding. Now, there's this other problem in places like New York, where even when people have been given their allocation for the month, they're going and they're using their EBT cards, and they're not working. So the cards are loaded up, the money is there, they're being declined. And there have been a number of like shop owners and restaurant owners and people who, you know, use these benefits who have been talking to news outlets, like local news outlets, and being like this is a problem, this is happening to a lot of people. So it's chaos at this point, right? The Republicans are saying like, hey, we can't actually, we can't we can't release all the funding. Even I know that we were ordered to, but we're only going to do 65% of the funding because we actually can't. Because all of the other reserve money that we could use, well, we need it for a rainy day. Also, if we were to use it, there's a bunch of like child nutrition assistance program, like child nutrition programs that we would be taking the funding away from them actually. So we can't take the funding away from them. And we're going to do 65%. So it's about $9 billion a month, right? We pay about $9 billion in SNAP. So they're going to give 65%. So we still need about like, you know, 4-something billion. They're like, we can't do it. We can't do it. It's just, so we'll do the partial payment. So Argentina needs that money. So Judge McConnell goes, no, fuck you, actually. This is the judge out of Rhode Island, the initial judge who was like, you will pay in full. He says, no, fuck y'all, actually. That money, that $4 billion, it's out of a fund called Section 32. He goes, if you took the other $4 billion you needed out of Section 32, you would still have $19.35 billion left, which is more than enough for the child nutrition assistance programs that you're talking about. This is not a real thing. You're fucking lying, actually. He calls them out on that immediately. And he says, fuck you. So this is 3 days later on the 6th. He goes, fuck you, pay it in full. Don't pay 65%, you pay it in full, you can do it. You can afford to do it, there is enough money. Do it. I told you to fucking do it, basically. So then, J.D. Vance, this is where we get this is where we get J.D. Vance, what I showed you in the beginning, saying this.
Ruling because you have a It's an absurd ruling because you have a federal judge effectively telling us what we have to do in the midst of a Democrat government shutdown, which what we'd like to do is for the Democrats to open up the government. Of course, then we can fund SNAP, and we can also do a lot of other good things for the American people.
So J.D. Vance says, you can't just have a judge. You can't have him tell us what to do. Did you even say thank you? He pulls the shit that he pulled with Zelensky, where he tries to like swing his big dick around, and he's like, you don't understand, we're the Trump administration, you can't tell us what to do. So now that they are going to defy this court's order, the next move is they take it to the First Circuit Court of Appeals. They take it to the First Circuit Court. Yeah, we would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for the meddling Justice Department and your dang judge. Yeah, basically. So, now, this is going to the First Circuit Court. So yesterday, for whatever reason, the First Circuit Court just didn't make a decision. Now, I think it's probably because they were like, oh shit, oh fuck, we have to make a decision on this in a few hours. Oh shit, oh fuck, that's not enough time. Oh shit, oh fuck, what are we going to do? So they don't release a decision. So there's no First Circuit Court ruling. So the ruling that we're still working with, that's still in place, is from this Rhode Island federal judge. Now, how does Ketanji Brown Jackson, why is she related to this? So my understanding of the situation is that she is the Supreme Court justice who is responsible for handling issues with the First Circuit Court. So the way that this situation is being portrayed, she ruled last night at like 9 p.m. That she was halting the federal judge's decision that these payments needed to go out. So when you look at it, you go, wait a minute, hold on. Why would she rule that way, that they don't need to pay? Like, what's going on here? So the situation is, because she handles matters with that First Circuit Court, and because they didn't make a decision, but they said that they want to make a decision and that they're going to very soon, she basically kicked it back to the First Circuit Court. And so she is halting the federal judge's order until that First Circuit Court makes its decision. So this is like a weird procedural thing that she kind of had to do. So this is not her being like, yeah, no, I totally side with the Trump administration. I think the Trump administration is totally correct here. This is like the order of, this is the chain of command, basically. So that First Circuit Court has to make their decision before she can do anything. So if the First Circuit Court goes, fuck you, release those payments, and then the Trump administration says, I don't think we will, then it would go to the Supreme Court. So, you're going to see this all over the news. Like, Fox News is hailing it as a win for the Trump administration, but it's not. It's literally just procedural legalese stuff. That's literally all this is. I think she gave them, like, she put that her stay only lasts for, like, 48 hours. She's denying SCOTUS the Trump rubber stamp and also denying SCOTUS the sit on it forever tactic. Yeah. So she's also denying them the sit on it forever tactic because she basically said, okay, so this hold lasts for 48 hours. So get to it. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So it's pretty messy. It's not really great. But this is the situation. So we went from, we would love to do it, but we don't know if we can, to, it would be our honor to do it if we're allowed. You just have to allow us to, well, we're being ordered to, but we just can't afford it. There's just not the money for it. To, fuck you. How dare you tell us what to do? Fuck you, you're just a judge. We're the Trump administration, and we will not be doing that. And when asked why they're not going to do it, the response was that they want to have negotiating power with the Democrats for the shutdown. So I can't remember who said that. I think it was JD Vance. Who said it? Yeah, it's been really, really back and forth. And like for a while, Mike Johnson was saying stuff, and then Trump was just tweeting out other shit. And yeah, so the agriculture secretary is who is in charge of distributing those funds. She went on Fox News the other day, like a week ago. And basically they went on Fox News and they were talking about how, like, the program is really corrupt. She said 50 to 60% of the people using SNAP are, like, immigrants. They have illegal immigrants in their household. And then she went on this whole thing about how... Okay, here, what did she say? She went on this whole thing about how there's, like, legitimate and illegitimate recipients, and that there's a ton of fraud, and that the American people support what's happening right now, and that they really understand that this is actually a conversation and a political move that is about fraud, waste, and abuse, basically. So the story changes and warps based on which member of the administration is talking and who they're talking to. Because I don't think Trump or Mike Johnson were talking about how their like front main line message about this was not about fraud. But now the secretary of the department that's like in charge of distributing the funds, that's what her thing is that she's focusing on now. Oh. It's just, they're using starvation as a tactic. It comes on a card, so you have to give someone your card, and they trust that you don't cancel it before you can use it, or you have to go to the store with them and buy their groceries. Yeah, so they're saying that people are selling their benefits and stuff like that, but and that they're trading them for like weaves. It's a lot of, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff like that, but I haven't seen any sort of data. There's never any data. They just go on and say, like, a bunch of illegal aliens are, you know, using your tax dollars to eat. And I don't really care. I'm going to be so honest with you. If you are in my tax bracket or above, you pay like $40. Like 40 of your tax dollars go to funding this. I don't give a fuck. Oh no, they were born somewhere else, so like let them starve. I don't give a fuck. Feed them. Fuck you. Fuck you, feed them. You know how much of my money, my tax dollars go to corporate subsidies? You know how much of my tax dollars go to funding military? How much money has not gone to Mars? Yeah. Subsidizing Elon Musk's companies? Fuck you. Feed those kids. So that's the situation. That's where we're at right now. I think that, I don't know. It sucks. It really sucks because we're seeing people talk about how they can't afford to eat. How they can't afford $4 billion to SpaceX for them to not make a moon landing. Yeah. No, Elon Musk is getting, what, $1 trillion payout? The company's proposing if he does everything right and he meets all these certain benchmarks, $1 trillion payout for him. Yeah. The USDA website about a week ago put up a banner saying the well has run dry. Wait a minute, hold on. The USDA confirmed in a new message on its website that no SNAP benefits will be issued come November 1st. Bottom line, the well has run dry. At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1st. The message reads in part. Echoing similar comments from Republicans and officials from President Donald Trump's administration, the message pointed blame at Democratic lawmakers for the shutdown. The USDA is led by Trump appointee, that's where he should have stayed, appointee Brooke Rollins. We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats, the message said. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition assistance. Yeah. So, basically the Republican Party is going to starve this country. The Republican Party is going to starve this country because they don't care about you, and they don't care about your family members who might need help. They don't care about people who are disabled. They don't care about the children that are going to starve. They do not care about the government employees who are going without their paychecks. They don't care about the 26,000 military families that receive SNAP. They don't care. They don't care about any of that because you are disposable, and their real priorities are the billionaire class and their donor class. And if you starve, who gives a fuck? No one cares, right? So they will lie, and they will point the finger, and they'll say, there's no money for food. You have to go hungry. Your kids have to go hungry because Democrats want to feed illegal aliens and give healthcare, free healthcare to illegal aliens, something that is completely impossible and not happening, that has been fact-checked 10 million fucking times. Not happening, right? And even if it was, I don't give a fuck. So they're going to lie and say insane shit, and they're going to throw trans people, and they're going to throw immigrants under the bus so that you get mad at them and not mad at the Democrats, or not mad at the Republicans who are fucking you over, who don't care if you starve. Starvo. Basically, Republicans are Darvoing Democrats. And if you don't know what Darvo is, it's deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. Darvo is like a term that we used to talk about narcissists a lot. Oh, here's what Mike Johnson said. That clip I was looking for, Mike Johnson earlier. Johnson was asked about the rulings and the Trump administration's response during a press conference on Monday morning. The House Speaker said he and the president had talked about this quite a bit over the weekend. The president is desperate for SNAP benefits to flow to the American citizens who desperately rely upon it. He is bent over backwards, as you know, to get the troops paid, to keep WIC funding going. He's found creative solutions. The SNAP situation has legal impediments to that, he continued, saying the legal advice the Trump administration has received said that the contingency funds could not be used. The contingency fund is an extra in layman's terms. It's an extra fund that is there, for example, if you have unexpected natural occurrences, like a hurricane. Or like the government being shut down for 39 fucking days. And people, for the first time in this country's history, going without their SNAP payments. I just was scrolling Twitter and saw a DHS ad offering a $50K signing bonus for new ICE hires while this is happening. So they've been doing that for a while. ICE has been offering up to $50,000 signing bonuses for new recruits for quite some time. Yeah, while this is happening, ICE is still getting paid. While this is happening, Trump threw... Let me show you guys. Show you guys what the Trump party looked like. He's renovating, he's putting in a fucking ballroom. It's gonna piss me off. Why can't I fucking... Why can't I just get actually relevant results the first time? Fuck you, suck my dick. Here, let me show you guys what the party looks like that Trump just threw. This is such bullshit. Gatsby White House party. All of the news articles are talking about how they just had a Gatsby-themed White House party, and none of this is photos of it. Fuck you. Fuck you, Google. Here.
We're here to help our community out by packaging fresh
pandemic. We have the out of the food bank. We don't want to see that. We want to see people get on anybody who lives in.
This has nothing to do with it. Got it. I love that every website, every article is just fucking trash now. So they're all dressed like flappers. Yeah, totally functional web. It's really annoying because I was charging this light for like the first 20 minutes that we were on stream. Okay, cool, whatever. I'm gonna get off here soon anyway. There was a sign that said some shit like a little party never killed nobody. Yeah, I know. That was the theme of the party. It was a Great Gatsby theme. Apparently they haven't paid the company they contracted to illegally tear down the East Wing. They tore down the East Wing so that they could build a ballroom for Trump. Okay, let's do Mar-a-Lago Halloween party. Let's see if we can get image results that show us anything from that. Yeah, here we go. Wow, cool. I love that there's like 4 pixels in this. Okay, but you can see they have like, they had all these women doing like Dita Von Teese stripper. You know how like Dita Von Teese, the burlesque dancer, she's really famous for doing routines and like the big martini glasses. They had a bunch of those everywhere with women dancing in them, which like also I thought that they were like returning decency and decorum to America. What is this fucking degenerate, ultra wealthy shit? This is like the kind of shit that I would have at a party. What are we talking about right now? Yeah, look at this. Everyone dressed like flappers. Jesus. Okay, nothing's going right today. I can't even do anything. I can't look at websites. Can't get them to load. Can't have pixels in my fucking images. Can't get my light to charge or work. That's crazy. They gave us like 4 pictures and it's just the same picture like 7 times each. And that's all we're getting from Google results for this party. That's kind of crazy, actually. Okay. Sick. Okay. What percentage chance some of the women were underage? Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure some of them. I'm sure a small number of them. So, okay. We're not going to read any of this book. Well, do you guys want to read 1 or 2 pages? I still have 30 minutes before I have to get to this other place. I think it's like 10 minutes from my house. Do you guys want to read like 1 or 2 pages? Just to see what the vibe is? Just to see the vibe? What do you think? Let's do it? Okay. Alright. So this is Vanishing Point, okay? This is a cowgirl Harlequin romance novel that came to me unexpectedly in my HelloFresh delivery box, okay? I didn't ask for it. I didn't know it was coming. I have no idea what to expect. I've never seen it before. Alright. First page. Literally not even in the book yet. This is our little preview that we get, okay? He can't come in here. He can't know about Magnolia. Thomas took V's hands in his, so he won't. She wished she could believe his certainty, but she'd been certain once before. Believed all it would take was going to the police to save her from Eric. She'd been so wrong. Thomas, I have to leave. I have to run. If he comes here, you will be protected. I don't think you understand. I tried to tell people to get help, but his entire precinct believed him. He was this close to having me committed. If I hadn't run away, he would have made it happen. Or maybe he would have killed me. She knew how possible it was. This is Bent County. He doesn't control us. But he controls the cops. And you're a cop. She hated the words the second they were out of her mouth. I'm sorry. I know you don't deserve that. No, I suppose I don't. But you didn't deserve what happened to you. Life isn't fair. We know that. Okay. What do we think? Do we like our little teaser? I'm gonna read you guys like 3 or 4 pages, okay? ChatGPT's finest work. As a note, the author magically became way, way more prolific around 2023, so I wonder why that would be the case. ChatGPT's finest work, so true. Alright, chapter 1. Ooh, he's not just a cop, he's a detective. Okay, so it's a little bit better, guys. He's not like a beat patrol cop. He's a detective, okay? Alright. Detective Thomas Hart was exhausted, and the last thing he wanted to do was go to a child's birthday party. Valid. But he'd promised, and maybe the fun and innocence of a birthday party could wash the gross feeling of the case he'd worked today off of him. He was sure Alan Scott had killed his wife, but so far, the evidence was minimal. If he didn't drum up something soon, they were going to rule the death as suicide. Thomas shook it off. Or tried. As he pulled to a stop in front of the Delaney Carson house out by the Delaney Ranch, outside of the Bent city limits, the party was clearly already in full swing. It's a child's birthday party. What do you mean it's in full swing? Years ago, when his dad had gotten transferred to Arizona, his parents had wanted him to move with them. There were police jobs in Arizona, and he'd been young and unencumbered. I hate that word. I'm sorry. Just her usage. That just sounds gross in this context. Why not try something new? Somewhere where the population didn't skew old and rancher. But he'd liked working at Bent County. He just hadn't been able to fathom leaving. Sometimes home was just home, no matter who was around. So when his parents had left, he'd stayed. In the early days, he'd been a little lonely. For a variety of reasons. But these days, he had more friends that were basically family clamoring at him than he knew what to do with. He felt like he was always on the hook for a party. Birthdays, christenings, holidays, a never-ending onslaught. Some he could weasel his way out of, but not this one. Sunny Delaney Carson was his goddaughter. He grabbed the gift bag out of his back seat, and then he got up and walked up the drive. He was greeted at the door by a very skeptical 7-year-old in a sparkly blue dress. It was somehow his life, and it was somehow his life that he knew. And it was somehow his life that he knew which Disney princess it correlated with. That's a weird sentence, right? Are things gonna get gay soon or what? I don't understand. I feel like that's a really weird sentence, but it was somehow his life that he knew. Okay, what is it? She demanded, pointing at the gift bag. Thomas held it up a little higher, because knowing Avery, she'd just shove her hand up in there and yank it out. I think the birthday girl is supposed to open it and find out. Avery gave him a look, the kind of look he'd have seen often enough from her mother. Disparaging approval. Disparaging disapproval. She's 2. And when you were 2, you loved pulling all the paper out of the bag. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna get gay anytime soon. Can we even make it past the first page? Okay, that's 2 pages. I'm not gonna subject you guys to more of this. You know what I might do? Okay, not ChatGPT's finest work, but average ChatGPT work maybe. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna subject myself to reading this, and then I'm gonna read you guys the spicy parts. What do you think? I don't think I'm gonna make you guys listen to all of it, because I have a feeling it's going to be very bad. They only send you the gay romance novels if you subscribe to HelloFresh Plus. So true. Who do you guys want to go hang out with? Do you want to hang out with Riverboat Jack? No, thank you. I can already tell that this is not going to be well written. Alright, get in the raid. 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 Get in the raid or I'm gonna beat you up. Get in the raid! Okay. Alright. Bye. Love you guys.